Alright, before I start the video, I would like to thank my friend right here, Andrew Ng, for
first time meeting you.
Yeah, first time meeting me because I'm going come to Johor for vacation and I bump into this guy.
Yeah.
So you can subscribe to his channel. He also doing some car reviews and short walk around of some vehicles.
Yeah. Actually, I didn't bump into you. We already talked about meeting.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So you can subscribe to his channel. I'll put his channel link at the description below.
Yeah.
So back to the Range Rover Discovery. So this is a 2018 model. So this car in Malaysia is price tag at around 700 plus thousand. And this car is actually from Singapore. So it's a Singapore car. So I'm not sure for the price of the Singapore, but I will definitely put it at the description below. And so let's start for the interior tour first before we get into the exterior. So let's start for the door cards. One thing I like about Range Rover is actually the door are pretty thick. As you can see, it's much thicker than your regular BMW and Mercedes model. So for your information, this Range Rover Discovery competes against the BMW X3, the Mercedes-Benz GLC, and also Audi Q5. So this British brand competes against some really powerful,
some very powerful and some very luxurious competitors.
Yeah.
Not just of course, Land Rovers are British cars, right? So their competitors in Europe are from Germany, and actually, I think it also competes with the XC40. We forgot to mention about that.
Okay, thanks for your information.
It's a Swedish competitor.
Alright. So actually, another thing you should know, actually Land Rover is collaborate with Jaguar. So as you can see, the interior, you can actually notice some part that is shared with some Jaguar models such as the F-Pace,
the Jaguar XE, and then also you can see other cars like the E-Pace, and many other models as well. We'll get to that later.
Okay, so let's start for the door cards. So right here you get your window controls. So all of the window in this car are fully automatic in both directions. And here is your window lock. And this is your side mirror adjustment. Actually, the overall quality is not as I would thought for Land Rover, because in these days you have seen a lot of people complaining that Land Rover and Jaguar that has serious reliability problem. But so far the build quality are pretty good, pretty decent,
pretty solid.
Yeah, pretty solid.
Solid. Yeah.
So yeah, back to the door cards. Right here you get some black soft touch materials, and you get your separate central locking and a silver door handle. So let's hear the door closing sound. Okay, pretty solid. As usual, Land Rover car, they are pretty capable in off-roading. And so this Range Rover Discovery is actually positioned at the entry-level model.
That means the compact luxury SUV segment.
Yeah. So the luxurious Land Rover model are actually the Land Rover
Range Rover. Then they recently launched the Range Rover Velar, which is actually similar to the F-Pace, right? The same chassis, just that to be honest, the F-Pace won the the Car of the Year award, right? Of 2017. And then after that, when the Velar came out, right, it won the 2018 Year of the Car award. So it's basically the same chassis, and it seems that people actually like the looks of the Velar more.
Alright, thanks for your information. Actually, I'm not quite familiar with the Land Rover brand, so I would like to let my friend to talk more about the features and some history about the Land Rover brand. So right here you get your speakers right here. So this is not the highest grade speaker as you get for the Range Rover Sport and the highest Land Rover Range Rover. So this is just a regular speaker. Okay, let's hear the sound quality. Okay, let's close it because
Copyright issues.
yeah, copyright
Okay.
issues. So actually the sound quality is pretty decent in my opinion, but is better in its segment. So right here you get some finishing at the aircon vents to add a bit of design detail. As you can see, the interior, right, is not as beautiful as the Mercedes GLC in my opinion, and also the BMW X3. So I think the design is more on the Audi Q5 side. It's more classic and
Conservative.
yes, conservative. So right here you get some soft touch leather together with some stitching to make it some more design details, so that it don't makes the car look dull like now most other car. They just make their whole interior black, and in my opinion it doesn't let the car looks good in my opinion, because some designer they make a lot of effort to designing the interior, but somehow they just use one color to paint the whole interior. So in my opinion it's a bit dull. So back to the Range Rover Discovery. As you can see here, you get your analog plus LCD digital at the center. So right here it's in the engine temperature and also a fuel gauge. Down here you get your mileage, and this car has traveled 74,585 kilometers, and this is your range. So okay, so this steering wheel is leather wrap, and you get your cruise control settings. So this is not the highest tech cruise control as you get for your Honda Sensing, the Subaru EyeSight system.
That's all I know.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
Okay, never mind. So at least it has cruise control. It's a pretty convenient feature when you are always travel long distance. So right here you get your infotainment system. So this is your voice command system, but to me the voice command system is not as good as you get for the high proton system, because high proton system they have
Okay, so the thing is that now we are in the ASEAN region, and to be more exact, we're actually in Malaysia at the moment. So Malaysians, we have a more distinctive accent compared to people in the UK region, right? So I actually been in the Jaguar F-Pace and we tried the voice command system, but the thing is that when we tried to speak to the system in our own accent, right, it actually couldn't get what we are saying for some time. Okay, so the thing is that we suddenly have to change our accent a lot in order for the voice command system to understand what we are saying.
we can set our language, time, date, volume settings, unit measurement, because I think this car is imported all the way from UK. So as you can see, the unit of measurement is in mile, and this is your beep sound. So this is your other settings. So front you get your system, display, media, you get your radio settings and your traffic instant traffic announcement, and also sound setting. Right here you can hook on your Bluetooth, and this is your look at your phone calls. So this car doesn't have any fancy features such as the Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. So right here you get your ambient lighting setting, rear air conditioning switch, and this is your cameras. This will activate your rear view camera. So this is a pretty low res camera. So this is your eco data.
I mean, you can practice all the time.
Yeah. So this is your climate control settings. You not only can set your temperature here, you can also set the temperature at the screen. So this is our sync temperature. If you turn it on, these two sides will have the same temperature. If you turn it off, each side will have individual temperature. So as you can see, Land Rover actually makes some effort to designing the physical button combined with the digital display inside. So actually this is a pretty good touch. So right here you get your shortcuts buttons. This will activate your rear view camera. This is your front parking sensors. And this is your push start. So the steering, behind you get your pedal shifters. And like I said, this is a UK car. So the signal stop is on the left side. The sound feels premium.
What about the signal stop quality? Is it nice or what?
In my opinion, it's on the decent side.
Okay.
But it's definitely better than the BMW
signal stop.
Yes.
Okay, actually one thing I would like to add is that this signal stop, what I can see at the moment is that it is being shared with the Jaguar F-Pace because like we mentioned in the earlier part of the video that Jaguar and Land Rover share a lot of parts together. So the signal stop is one of the things that are being shared with two manufacturers.
Alright, back to the signal stop. So you get your automatic function, and this is your front and rear fog lights, and at the right is your wiper controls. So now we're moving on to the center console. So the center console is pretty designed in a pretty
conservative manner.
Yeah, it doesn't have any complicated line as you get for the Mercedes-Benz or the BMW. It's more conventional center console design because this car is meant to be a little bit of off-road capable, so they designed the car to make it.
In my opinion, I think that Land Rover cars and even Jaguar cars, how to say, it's like they are for those wealthy people who literally buy a car, okay, and their everyday routine is that they just get in the car, start the engine and go kind of people. They are not the kind of people who sit in the car for maybe a few minutes and stare around the dashboard, you know, to remind them of how dull their previous car was, right? So I guess the way they designed the dashboard, can you point at the dashboard for a while? Okay, so the way they designed the dashboard and everything, right, I think that this is the taste of UK people. Right, because if you look around the demographics of the country, right, you can see that everything there still looks pretty yesterday. Okay, I'm not trying to say that they are very old school or what. Well, I'm saying that of course in their technological advancements they are way ahead of a lot of countries. In fact, UK is actually a developed country, but in terms of what you see from the outside, they still look pretty laid back. Yeah.
Alright, so as my friend said, UK people not really cares about how the interior looks. They care about how the driving experience looks like and how this car perform in some off-road capable. This is how the Land Rover brand was. So you don't expect the Range Rover, this entry-level luxury SUV, to look like some of those luxury X3 or GLC. They are different category of vehicle because GLC and the X3 are more on town SUV rather than off-road. So yeah, so moving along here, you get your different mode settings. This is your recirculation of inside air, max air conditioning, max. These are different modes and automatic. So as you can see, right, these buttons feels pretty familiar because there are some parts that is shared with the Jaguar F-Pace, which is a sporty SUV manufactured by Jaguar with collaboration with Land Rover. So down here you get your off-road setting. This is not the knob type as you get for the Range Rover Sport. So here we get your normal mode. This is your snow mode, rough terrain and sand. So here is your hill descent control and the traction control off. So as you can see, if we switch the mode, okay, as you can see, the LCD meter cluster will
change, will display whichever mode that you activate.
Yeah. So let's go back to normal. So this is normal. So now this is grass, gravel, snow, mud, ruts, sand. So don't expect this entry level Range Rover has all those high-tech features you get for your Range Rover Sport, because this is, in the end of the day, this is still not the expensive vehicle. It's just a slightly upmarket luxury SUV and plus some off-road SUV as you get in the market in Malaysia. So down here you get your pretty decent storage space. So as you can see, this is my friend Oppo, and it fits very well inside.
Yep.
So right here you get your gear knob. So this is what the party piece of the Range Rover. As you can see, let me switch off the car. So the gear knob will actually move down. So when you start the car, the gear knob actually goes up. So this is a pretty elegant manner as you get for the Land Rover. So as you can see, this knob feels familiar, right? This is the same knob as you get for every Land Rover or Range Rover, including the Jaguar vehicle, because they share the same parts. And here you get your PRNDS. So this car is using a 2.0 liter turbocharged Ingenium engine paired with the
8-speed automatic gearbox.
Yeah. So you get a sport mode. So to shift into drive, put your foot on the brake and twist this knob. So you need to push. So you put into reverse. The reverse camera will. So right here you get your electronic parking brake, nicely integrated in this silver highlights. So to engage, put your foot on the brake, push it up once. So to engage, to disengage, push it down. So right here you get your pretty decent cup holders. So you can press to remove it. So after you remove it, it reveals a even more larger storage space. This is pretty amazing. So actually the practicality in this car is pretty good, I would say, compared to other brands.
And one thing I noticed about this car as we sat inside, right, because I mean from the outside it looks like any 5-seater SUV, you know, like the GLC is 5-seater, the X3 is a 5-seater as well, right? Yes. So even the Q5 is a 5-seater, but this car, when you look at the rear space, right, you notice there's actually another seat belt at the back.
There's two more extra seats at the rear.
Well, I believe that this car is actually a 5+2-seater because there is in no way that the spaciousness of the interior is able to, able to be considered as a 7-seater SUV, right? Like the Fortuner is a full-size 7-seater SUV. Not a full-size 7-seater SUV. I mean, like the Fortuner is a proper 7-seater SUV, right? And even the Outlander is a 7-seater SUV. So this car, I believe it is a 5+2-seater. But anyway, we'll check that out later. Right?
Alright.
We'll go back to the interior.
So okay, I covered the center console, and actually you get a pretty nice piano black finishing cover right here, and also a USB ports. So this is your center armrest. It's pretty wide. So okay, let's take a look at the glove box. So the glove box opens in a pretty elegant way, because like most other cheap and affordable car, when you open, they'll just drop bomb like that. You will hit your leg. So in this detail, I will give a good score to Land Rover for doing this. And one more plus point is you actually get some carpeting finishing inside, so that if you put something inside, it won't make noise. So this is how Land Rover do their detailing. So yeah, I think I have covered the front of the car. Oh yeah, before this, let's show you the keys. Pretty traditional key, Land Rover badge. And here you get your lock, unlock. This is your open your headlights, tailgate opening, and also the alarm system. So yeah, let's get to the rear. So for the rear, the seat is adjusted a bit far back, so I get a decent amount of legroom. How about you, Andrew?
I feel the legroom is alright. In fact, it actually, for what I feel, it's actually about the same legroom as the Jaguar F-Pace. Right.
Alright. So if you compare this to the GLC and the X3, it is definitely smaller. But one cool feature that this Discovery has is you can actually slide the seat forward and backward. So because this car has third row seat, so they need to balance second row seat and the third row seat.
The spacing.
Yeah. I appreciate when they do the sliding function, so that
One
you
more thing, you can recline the seats as well. Let me try.
yeah, you can recline the seat to a more comfortable position.
This is the most far back.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think you can move the seat from frontward to balance, because later we need to try out the third row seats.
Okay, so the thing about the armrest is that it looks kind of like those things. How to say, it's like those armrests that you get in your more affordable SUVs.
It's not pretty impressive in my opinion. If you compare the front plastic, I think this is a drawback. But at the, behind you get some storage. Pretty good.
Practical.
But even though it doesn't get a aircon vents at the center armrest, but you actually get a B pillar aircon vents. So I think this is the most better way to put the aircon vents, because sometimes they have people that's sitting at the middle seat and the aircon just blows the middle passenger, so the middle passenger may feel uncomfortable. So I think this is a more logic way to put a aircon vents for the rear. So right here you get a hook to hook your or shirt in that manners, and this is your grip handle, and this is the light. Down here you get 12 volt socket and two 5 volt USB port.
Actually, for longer journeys, it's really useful. I mean, the presence of these 3 ports shows that actually this car is being made with comfort in mind. Okay, it is not exactly a utilitarian vehicle. Okay, and yeah, I mean, in UK or other parts of Europe, right, this car is actually almost like your Honda CR-V, you know, or your Nissan X-Trail, right? So I can see it as a family car that has some luxury touches inside, right?
Yeah. So let's try out the third row seat. So to fold down the rear seat, you need to actually pull this and move the seat forward, like how you do in your Nissan X-Trail. So front seat have been adjusted to balance the middle row and the third row. So as you can see, actually I get some leg room because I'm 170 something cm.
Record me getting in.
Yeah, this fat boy want to go in. I'm joking. Wow, why they put all those things behind? Okay, never mind.
You gonna sit inside?
Yeah.
Okay, so to make this review more
complete, more detailed.
Okay, so actually, yeah, legroom is actually okay, to be honest. I mean, well, of course, to be honest, this is, well, my headroom is horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, this is not an MPV like your Nissan Serena, right? So this is actually, like what I said, this is a 5+2 seater, and the thing is that if you want to, let's say, if you have to fetch some of your workers, because some people, maybe there are some construction site bosses, you know, they want to carry their workers out for lunch, right? And then the thing is that when they sit inside here for maybe for a 15-minute drive, right, they won't feel exactly uncomfortable lah, okay? But the thing is that if you want to put them here for a 3-hour drive from JB to KL, right, they're going to come down with a black face.
Yes.
Right? And provided you're looking at me, I'm actually 170 cm tall, which I'm actually almost the same height as Chen, right? My head is struggling to survive, okay? And then imagine, like, Malaysian roads are actually pretty poor, alright? I don't get how plush the suspension setup is, right? You imagine going through puddles all the time, and then my head keep hitting the roof, okay? I thought my W211, I thought my dad's W211 headroom is poor, but this is another level of poor.
Alright.
Right, and provided, one more thing is that the seats here are actually quite low. And
yes.
So bad.
As you can see, I get a poor thigh support. As you can see, only my butt is sit on the seat base, and the whole leg is just hanging.
I mean, this is probably Toyota Kauya level of well, comfort, you would say. Actually, the Toyota Kauya is the MPV version of the Perodua Axia, because I mean the Axia is actually based on the Daihatsu Ayla, and also it's based on the Toyota Agya, right? So those cars are Indonesia's LCGC, low cost green car,
okay,
right? And then they actually created an MPV from that chassis. And the thing is that I've never been into one before, but the thing is that sitting inside here is almost LCGC MPV level of comfort.
Okay.
Something like that.
Yeah, I get the same feeling. Okay, at the side, surprisingly, you get a fan speed control for the third row aircon vent. So you can actually adjust the temperature, adjust the fan speed. Adjust the fan speed of the third row aircon vents individually. Because the front we have dual zone, and also the rear, this B pillar aircon vent is actually attached of the front climate control. So the front climate control also controls the rear, the middle row B pillar aircon vents. Whereas the third row aircon vents you can adjust it individually by using this. Actually, this is, even though this is a 5+2 seater, they actually make a space to put your tongue cover when your third row seat is not in use. You want to lose some what do you call personal belonging. So one more touch, one awkward place to put a cup holder. Let's go to the rear. You can either use the button of the key fob to open the power tailgate, or by using the yeah. So it open in quite fast manner.
Pro seats, you have to fold them down. Just
pull this lever. Just like what my
pull the strap here. We're not going to pull this down because there's some things there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is similar as my Proton Exora.
Right. So when
using
you pull
the same method to fold down the third row seat, but it's not a bad thing.
Yeah. When you pull the strap, the headrest goes down. I'm going to show you one more time. Okay.
Yeah.
So now we're going to fold down the seats by pulling the strap one more time, and it goes down like this, right? So this
cover is to cover the seat mechanism like here, so that your thing won't fall inside.
Easier to load things up.
Yeah.
Okay.
So right here, if the third row seat is up, we get a pretty small boot space. It's even smaller than your BMW X3 and also the GLC. So to close the power tailgate, just press this black button, and it closes in a pretty fast manner. Discovery Sport. So enough of the interior, let's take a look at the exterior. So let's start for the front. So at the front, you actually get a pretty traditional Range Rover style. You get a Discovery name right here. If you get a Range Rover Sport, this wording will be Range Rover. And right here you get your Land Rover signature grille design, and also the old Land Rover badge. So the Range Rover Discovery Sport actually uses LED headlights with LED DRL. Yeah, as you can see, it's a LED projector headlights, and down here you get your LED fog lights. And because this car is a European and British car, they often have fog and some bad weather, so you actually get a headlight washer. Okay, at the side you get a set of 18-inch alloy rim. This is not a dual tone, so it measures in 235 60 R18. Pretty thick tire. And this is a side profile of the Range Rover Discovery Sport. It's a pretty compact luxury SUV. It's about the size of the X3 and also the GLC. So at the rear you get your LED taillight. Actually, this design actually matches out at the front headlights as I showed you earlier. So this is your rear fog lights. Here's your badge, Discovery badge, also a Sport label. So you get your rear parking sensors, standard across the range. Also a Land Rover badge. Design actually reminds me of the BMW X2. This video is our first time collaboration. So if you like this video, please subscribe, like and share my videos. So thank you guys and cheers.
Okay, bye.